Lam, how are you?
Good, and you?
Doing well. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can.
Perfect. Let me just turn my
Can
volume
you
up.
hear me well?
Yep.
Okay.
There we go.
Yeah, me too. I had to turn it up a little.
One sec here. Alrighty. How's it going?
Good, just relaxing. Had a long day.
Any training today?
Yeah, I went to train in the morning. I ran and I did some exercises. I'm only training 3 days a week right now, boxing in the evening
Okay.
because we got the cops called on us for opening the gym.
Oh no. So actually, to start, let me just introduce you here to anybody who may not know who you are. We have Sulem Urbina, undefeated superfly, flyweight, 12 and 0, undefeated. Um, I was actually fortunate to be at your last fight. That was your first fight in the States, right?
Yes, that was my US debut and it was amazing. It was a great experience for me and I'm grateful that you were there for that.
Yeah, it's I'd seen your last fight when you fought. I think it was November in Mexico. Uh,
Yeah,
Zone, correct?
yes. No, it was in San Miguel de Allende
No,
and
but
it
it
was
was on
on Facebook Watch.
Facebook Watch. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And that was a third round stoppage, I believe.
Yes, it was. Thank God, because I was not doing well. I was sick.
Uh,
I think I had the Rona, dude.
really? I remember you
Yeah.
last book. You were telling me about that. You said that you thought you may have, in retrospect, you thought you may have had that.
Or something. I don't know. It was bad. It was horrible. I mean, I was sick like for 3 weeks, all the way till I fought, and then after that, I still didn't feel like I was able to get my breath, catch my breath till like 2 weeks after I fought. So it took me like a good 5 weeks to fully recover. So I don't know what it was, but it was weird.
How are you feeling now? I mean, that was in November, but I mean, how have things been going?
Everything's been going well. I mean, my husband is my coach, so I kind of have him to work me out and train me all the time. I stay pretty busy. I mean, even though boxing's my job, I'm a stay-at-home wife, and it's not easy work. I mean, I cook 3 meals a day. I have to keep the house clean. I wash clothes. It's a never-ending job, and with
Funny,
that, huh?
food. Our conversations are actually centered around food. Every time I talk to you, it always comes back to food. So I'm sure that we're going to start with boxing talk here, and I'm sure it'll eventually end up with some food talk by the time we're done. So
Definitely.
yeah, so actually, I have a couple of questions from a couple of people that submitted some questions. We'll kind of get started with some lighthearted questions first, and then we'll get a little deeper into some boxing questions, and then eventually some food questions because I know sharing recipes and different uh, meal plans. So one of the questions was, what would be your perfect day?
My perfect day is a simple evening with all my brothers, my husband, my mom, my dad, in my parents' living room, just watching TV and, just sharing a meal all together. Unfortunately, we already lost one brother, so he's not here with us anymore. And then my other two, one is in a detention center.
Hmm.
The Another one's deported, and I just have my youngest brother with me. So perfect day would just be being together with my family that I grew up with.
And speaking of your brother, Alexis, I know that he's a big part of um, your inspiration and your drive with boxing. I know that when I had a chance to uh, be with you in the locker room, the dressing room before your last fight over at Fantasy Springs, we were talking a bit, and we were able to get some photographs with for you, it's like your hashtag, for you, Alexis, and we got some photos of the bag in the background, and can you just talk a little bit about what your brother means to you and how he inspires you? Um, you kind of just go ahead and take it from
Yeah.
there.
Well, my little brother Alexis, he passed away in 2013, and he was the reason why how I learned how to be a big sister. I mean, he taught me how to be a big sister. I changed his diapers. I took care of him and everything. And, you know, when we were kids, when we were little, we used to fight all the time. All the time. We used to fight each other. We used to share a little single bed growing up. And he would take my covers and I would smack him. And, you know, we had that little, we just couldn't get along. And then when we both started boxing and then he tagged along with me, we built this bond that was just unbreakable. We became best friends. And I shared everything with him, and he was just the happiest, sweetest kid ever. He made your day. If you were having a rough day, he made you smile. That was his goal. He had the warmest heart and just very loving and caring. And he was a great boxer. I mean, he was developing very well. Once he turned 14, he really started, you know, getting into it. And then by 17, he was on Team USA. So he was, you know, he knew what he wanted to accomplish, and he was all about boxing, just like me. And so we just, you know, we fed off of each other. And it's been almost 7 years since he's been gone now. And I mean, I miss him every day. And it took me 4 years for me to, you know, start to accept it. Because those 4 years for me were horrible. They were the worst 4 years of my life after he had left. And then it took me another 3 after he passed away to be at peace with it. I still miss my brother dearly. I miss him every single day, and I think about him all the time. But I've learned that he's at peace, that he is not suffering, and, you know, I've accepted it. It took a long time, 7 years. It's quite some time.
Well, thanks for sharing that. I appreciate you sharing that with us. And one of the things I noticed at your last fight, and when I watched the Facebook Live fight, the little gesture after your win, you know, it's a nice gesture to just kind of point up to the sky, knowing he's there watching over you, and you know I'm sure if he was here, he'd be your #1 fan.
You know, it's something that I don't get tired of. I will never get tired of speaking about my little brother, and that's why I do that after every win, because I want people to ask, hey, who do you do that for? Or, you know, just keep sharing his story, and in a positive way, show people that you can keep going.
Great, thanks again for sharing that. Now you mentioned your brother was on Team USA, so let's kind of just transition back to you for a second here. Let's talk a little bit about your amateur career. You had an extensive amateur career. You know, you were possibly going to represent Mexico in the Olympics. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, I started boxing when I was 11, but my mother did not like it at all. She hated it. She was like, "No, you need to be at home helping me clean the house and helping me with house chores." You know, typical Mexican mom. She wants the daughter at home and, you know, doing house things. So I had like 4 fights when I was little, and then she pulled me out. She's like, "No more boxing for you. It's over. That's it." And then when I started driving at 17, I was like, I drove myself to a gym. I drove myself to a gym, and, you know, I didn't let up. And she hated it. She would make it impossible for me to go to the gym. And then one day she started showing up at the gym with me, and she started saying I was kind of good, you know? And so she started supporting me. Unfortunately, throughout that time, because I was undocumented, I couldn't compete at any national tournaments. Every single national tournament that I tried going to, there was no hope. I even went to one, tried to sign up to a PAL in Texas, and a girl from here, from Arizona, didn't like me very much. She said, "Why would they let this wetback compete?" Just like that. And it wasn't an Olympic year, so they were gonna allow me to. After she complained, I was taken off the draw sheet. You know, I was fed up. And I was, you know, I was an amateur boxer, pretty much broke. And I decided to pawn all my jewelry, and I took off to Mexico without being able to come back.
Wow.
I lied to my mom. I told her that I was going to be able to come back to the U.S., and I wasn't. I had to stay out there for a few months. And you know, God helped me that I'm pretty decent. I'm pretty good. I got a sports visa and I came back to the United States. But I mean, I took that risk. I took that risk that many, I mean, I know a lot of people don't take, to leave the country, you know, without being able to return.
Now,
And I,
I mean, what was your feel like when you made that decision to go back to Mexico, knowing that you possibly couldn't come back? I mean, what was what was that? I mean, were you that and that drive was there to succeed in boxing? I mean, can you talk a little bit about how you felt when you moved once you were actually over there?
well, once I actually left to Mexico, I was like, you know what? I got to make this work. I'm going to make it work. And I went to my first national. And honestly, I didn't win my first national. I ended up getting third place, with a very controversial third place, because it was the semifinal fight, and I was fighting at the time Oscar Valdez's girlfriend, and she was the girl from the Olympic Training Center. And at the time, you in amateurs you couldn't scream from the corners. So I remember it was the point system, and it was like we were going at it and we were tied up. I think we were 9-9. And it was almost the end of the third round, end of the fourth. And I ended up Andy ended up getting me thrown off because, well, he was giving me instructions, and the other coach was too, but they decided to take away 2 points from me. And then what they don't do, it what they did at that time, they don't take them away from me. They give the opponent 2 points. So I ended up losing 11-9,
Uh,
but I still got called to the Olympic Center because it was very controversial. So I got called to the Olympic Center, and we had a bunch of box offs, and I won every single box off. After that, you know, I stayed number one, and I became part of Team Mexico. And I just stayed on top of my game. I never lost once I was on the national team, and I competed international. I won many gold medals, many silver, many bronze. I mean, international is the best of the best. So I'm very fortunate that I got to see that. Central American Games, I qualified to the Pan Am Games. I went to the Olympic qualifiers. You know, I fell short from the Olympics, but you know, the traveling, all I got to see, and you know, the great fighters I got to face, it's all there.
oh, that's great. Now, what's your greatest memory, your best memory from your amateur career? If you have one fight or one particular situation or instance, can you talk a little bit about that? Just
Um, I
greatest.
think I have two, and it was because in 2014, after my brother passed away, he passed away in September, and I fought in November, and I fought here in front of my mom and my dad right after my brother had passed away. And I received a call from the detectives as I was warming up, telling me, Sulem, I don't want you to say anything, but we have the first suspect in custody, and we're going after the second one. And that's when I'm warming up. And, you know, I just, everything, the emotions, everything. And they told me, please don't say anything. If media calls you or whatever, don't answer. We have to catch the second guy. You know, so I'm sitting there, and people are coming up to us. Somehow the news got leaked, and it was Alexis was a big news when he passed away. So everybody in the arena knew what was going on. And, you know, people are coming up to us asking us, hey, is it true that they caught the first killer and this and that? And, you know, we can't talk about it. We can't talk about it. I'm feeling sick to my stomach. I'm about to fight, you know, and then I get the second call. You know, Sulem, we caught the second guy. And I asked, can you give me their names? They gave me their names. I had no idea who they were at the time. And, you know, we were just overwhelmed with emotion, and I was about to step into the ring. So Andy told me, he said, hey, if you don't want to fight, it's okay. You know, it's okay. We can just cancel it. I said, no, it's okay. We're going up to fight. So I go up to fight, and I perform. I take care of business. As soon as the last round's over, I walk over to the corner and I just start crying. I start crying. I start crying, and I'm hugging Andy, and the whole arena's crying because everybody's watching what's going on. Everybody's crying, and the emotion, everything that I felt, the anger, it's just, and you get called to the middle of the ring, and you get your hand raised. It was a win in so much, like, I can't express it.
I mean, that's certainly understandable why that's one of your greatest amateur memories. And just to bring everybody up to speed here, who may not be familiar with your story and your brother's story, correct me if I'm mistaken here, but there was a break-in at your home. Your brother stayed home from school that day, if I'm not mistaken?
Yes.
There was a break-in, and there was an interaction that ensued, and your brother was unfortunately killed in that little altercation in the home. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. So when you were referencing, just anybody who's not familiar with the story, referencing the police going up to you prior to your fight, that's why they were going up to you to tell you about what had happened. That's a great story.
And as soon as I was announced winner, everybody in the arena stood up. Everybody was clapping, and they announced over the intercom that his killers had been caught, and just the emotion all around. It's something I can't put into words. Yeah.
Couldn't even imagine what was going through your mind at that point, especially prior to walking in the ring.
Yeah.
Now, would you have preferred they held out that news, or were you glad that they actually told you before?
I don't know. Honestly, I'm a person that, takes in whatever is given to me, and I perform. At the end of the day, it's what Alexis and I enjoy doing together, and it's what brings us together. And I think, some people crack under pressure, and I don't.
Okay. Well, thanks again for sharing that story. Now, you said you had two.
The second one was, I end up winning nationals right after that fight in November, like a few weeks later. I won nationals, and then I went in January of 2014 to Dominican Republic, and I fought Olympian from Brazil. I fought two other girls I can't recall, but I ended up winning gold, and that was the first time for me winning gold where my Mexican flag gets raised in the background, and like I told you, I mourned my brother for a very, very, very long time. So, I'm standing there on the podium, I'm going like this, and it's something that I don't forget. I started off, after having lost my brother only a few months later, I started off golden, and I don't forget that.
I want to talk a little bit about how you and I met. I first met you at the WBC amateur tournament last year in June.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of just casually met. We weren't formally introduced or anything.
Yeah.
We kind of knew who each other were. And then I think a month or two later, I was in Phoenix, where you live. I'm in LA. I was in Phoenix for business, and there was some downtime, and we have a mutual friend who kind of put us together. For those of you who don't know, I'm a photographer. Put me in touch with Sulem to do a photo shoot. So I had a chance to go to your gym in Phoenix. You and Andy, your husband, trainer, were very welcoming there. And from then on, we just became great friends. Both with you and your husband, Andy. One of my favorite memories from that is the dinner we had after the photo.
Oh. Mine too.
Yeah, he asked, what do you want to eat? I'm like, well, what's around here? I'm a big foodie, so I was up for anything. And you guys picked a winner. It was the mariscos.
Yeah.
Coconut.
Mariscos en coco.
Yes, yeah, that was. I still dream about that. I asked who actually lived over there in Phoenix, and when they saw me post it, asked me where it was, and they wanted to go and try it. But
Yeah,
we definitely go back there.
definitely. It's a family spot that we've been going there ever since we were teenagers, and hopefully when this is over, we can go again.
And actually, speaking of that, yeah, absolutely. Um, uh, Speaking of that photo shoot, I actually have something here. Um, I actually showed it to you. I sent you a photo of this, but this was one of the photos from our session. This was South Mountain in Phoenix. Is that what it's called?
Yes, South Mountain.
Yeah, this was.
That's beautiful. Everybody loved that picture.
Thank you.
Even Cleto Reyes reposted it.
Wow. Well,
Yeah.
what I want to do is I printed up a few of these. I'm going to send a few of these to you as well. Talked about that, but actually, I want to give one away today, right now. So
Wow.
I was thinking, first person to answer a question, um, we'll get this. We'll get it mailed out to him, soon. But do you want to ask a question?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know what to ask.
I have a question in mind.
Okay.
But if you have one, I mean, feel free.
I don't have one, so go ahead, go for it.
We'll make it easy. First person to type in Sulem's last opponent will win this print.
Perfect.
So
Let's see if somebody answers.
you just go to Google, type it in. First person to answer that, we'll go ahead and we'll get this mailed out to him this week.
I don't think anybody knows. We don't have a lot of people here.
But if nobody chimes in, we'll do some type of giveaway. We'll let you post something on your page or something. We'll give it away if nobody can chime in now. But
Sounds good.
But I have actually a couple more questions from a couple of the people that submitted over the past day or two, or actually since yesterday. One of them was about your thoughts on the WBC not forcing the fight between La Nina, Yesenia Gomez, and Kenya Enriquez, who's the interim champ. So, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, for me, I think you have to do it. I mean, it's been 3 fights.
Somebody just chimed in.
Yeah, that was it.
That's correct.
Danny Boy Cuts, you got it right.
Boy, go ahead and DM me at BoxingTrend. Send me your name, address, and we'll get that sent out to you. You just won the 12 by 12 of Sulem. This was taken last July, I believe, during a photo shoot we did over in Phoenix. So DM me that information, and we'll get that sent out to you. Congratulations. All right, sorry to interrupt you, but I saw it pop up there. Didn't want to.
What was the question again? Oh, what do I think? I got it. Well, I think, at the end of the day, Yesenia, came out and said that, when she became champion, Kenya called her out on it. And she said, you know what? Wait in line. I have 3 fights that I have to do. And then after the 3 fights, I'll fight you. I'm not scared of you. So, hey, put your money where your mouth is, do it. You're supposed to have some integrity as a champion. I mean, as a champion, you should, be facing those opponents already. She did her 3 voluntary fights, and it's time. I mean, there's no excuses. I don't know what's the holdup. I don't understand it, and I do believe that we have to force these issues, because at the end of the day, I'd love to see Kenya versus Sanisa. So
that's the fight I want. More so than Gomez.
Yeah.
I'd love to see her fight Enriquez. Now, if Enriquez did fight Sanisa, who's your pick in that one?
I'm going with Sanisa because of the movement. I hope this doesn't ruffle any feathers or... Kenya hits really, really hard. She's super strong. I've sparred with her. I've heard Sanisa also does, but I think the movement that Sanisa has is very special. the movement that she has, it's, you know, it's not just anybody moves like that, and it's what makes her different. And I think that's her biggest benefit.
You know, as you're aware, I'm her personal photographer. I've been with her. I've been the past 5, 6 years. You know, I see the work she puts in, see what she does in the ring, and you know, there's something special about her that you know. She's been boxing since she was 8 years old.
Yeah.
A lot of these things you just can't teach, and they're just a lot of natural ability. You know, the speed, the like you said, the movements, you know, the power.
I saw Sanisa. I was talking to her the other day, and I remembered, and my husband and I remembered the time that she fought here in Arizona. She fought at the castle, this place where they used to do fights at, and you know, she was fighting a local girl, so they booed Sanisa after she won, and Sanisa stood in the middle of the ring and she just gave everybody the middle finger. It was awesome.
And the amateurs, or was that a
Yeah, that was in the amateurs. Yeah. So I think Sanisa was like 11, 12 years old.
It's funny you mentioned the, you know, the middle finger. Her dad posted a video. It was either her or her dad posted something on their IG story a few weeks ago. Um, it was, I believe it was her and Frankie Gomez were walking. They were maybe,
Yeah, they're running laps, and then she goes.
she was maybe 10 years old.
And see, Joe just said, I remember. Yeah, I remember she was fighting a little lefty girl named Amairani, you know, and Sanisa stood in the middle of the ring and she just let everybody have it. It was hilarious.
Hey Joe, you have to post that video again. That was funny. Sorry. Oh, speaking of Joe, I have to. I'm gonna send you something I made of Joe today.
Okay.
Cisa sent me some dance videos of Joe today.
Oh, I saw them. I saw them.
No, but
He's famous.
I put something together.
Oh,
I'll
wow.
you.
It's
It's
Joel Travolta, right?
yeah. But it's not posted. I'll send it to you after the call.
Okay, cool.
But speaking of you know opponents, who would you like to fight? I know I've heard you in the past talk about you know Marlena Esparza. Has that changed, or is that kind of like your number one go-to?
I think, I mean, it's not my number one because she doesn't have a belt. So, I mean, my number ones are the girls with the belts. I mean, I would love to fight Yvette Zamora. You know, she's somebody that I admire, and I think she's a great champion. She's been world champion for a long time. She was champion at 108, moved up to 112, and she's been world champion at 112, you know. So that's, you know, any of the girls with the belts. But yeah, if Marlene, I mean, if it's a fight that's gonna happen, I'm down for it, you know. At the end of the day, a lot of us girls that don't have belts right now are a little more known than the ones that do. So if these fights are gonna help the sport, why not? You know, I think there's some unfinished business there, and it's a fight that definitely has to happen. So
Yeah.
whatever.
How do you see that fight playing out?
I'm sorry, you cut off.
How do you see that fight playing out?
I see myself winning.
Decision, knockout. I mean, I mean, what do you? How do you anticipate that fight going?
I have no idea. You know, I've seen Marlene different ways. I've seen her when she's been at her best, and I've seen her when she's been at her worst. It all depends on which one shows up, you know. Um, I've seen the Marlene that's a little energizer bunny that never gets tired, and I've also seen the one that gasses out in 2 rounds. So it just depends which one shows up. At the end of the day, I'm gonna be expecting the best one, and no matter what, I just gotta win.
How did you see the fight? Her fight against Sinisa?
I saw a landslide. Sanisa just from the get go, Sanisa came out and dominated. She showed that attitude. You know, I saw her hurt her with some body shots. You know, I'm gonna talk about the headbutt. I don't think it was Sanisa's fault. You know, Marlene was sitting there coming in with her head the whole time. So I don't know why she says it was Sanisa. You know, headbutts happen, but I believe that, you know, the way Marlene comes in, you know, it's what made it happen. And then I saw Sanisa land some really good body shots. By the round, Marlene was tired. It was the best fight of the night, hands down.
Wow.
Both.
I mean, as devastating as that Kovalev knockout was, by the knockout of Kovalev. I mean, I still think girls stole the night that night.
Oh, it was a girls' night. The girls made that card. Without that fight, the card would have been a snoozer.
Yeah, I mean, the Garcia fight, I mean, he knocked out, um,
Was it Duno?
yes, he knocked him out in the first round.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't even a fight. So it's like at the end of the day, we want to see a fight. Yeah, it was very impressive. Ryan's great, but we like seeing a fight, a little grudge match here and there.
They got Boxing Reloaded just chimed in. What's up? How's it going? But yeah, so yeah, that fight definitely made the night.
Tanisa won every round. If anything, I gave Marlene one round, maybe. I don't know. I think it was the third when she kind of moved around a little more. But other than that, I mean, Tanisa dominated, and it was a landslide. I don't understand how people can question that decision, and it should have been a TKO because she couldn't continue.
Right. Yeah, I certainly agree with that. I saw. I mean, I was there in the arena. I saw it live. It was a landslide. After I watched it on the Zone, a few days later, I saw it the same way. It wasn't close at all to me. And I mean, you may think I'm biased because I'm her photographer, but no, it was landslide all the way.
It was one-sided all the way, just like Boxing Reloaded said it right there.
What's that? Oh, one side, yeah. Absolutely. Hey, Victor, what's going on? So you mentioned at the start of the call that somebody called the cops on you guys when you guys opened the gym. So how are you legally maintaining your workouts during this whole quarantine? I mean, what's kind of been your routine when you're not going to the gym?
Well, I've been running every day. I'm still running, and I do little exercises here and there. In the morning. My morning run is always, set in stone. I have to do it.
Yeah.
And so I mean, I don't look too big right now. I'm good. And then I go to the gym on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays with Andy, and he gives me a full workout. We just sneak in, and we don't turn up the music, and we keep the gate closed and everything. So we're staying in shape. And then on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I just do a little bike riding around the neighborhood or something. Arizona is a little more open, and especially the area where I live, there's a lot of mountains. So it's like there's not a lot of people around. So I get to do my own little thing and, just stay. I don't want to wear myself out. And at the same time, I don't want to get out of shape. So I'm staying in shape, and I generally eat very healthy. And I haven't gained too much weight. Like the first 2 weeks I did, but I calmed down a little bit. So, I'm still staying in shape.
All right, we have somebody who said, will you ever box Kenya?
I think, would we ever fight? Or, yeah. We sparred one time. She helped me out a lot. She's a great friend of mine. If there's fights, if they have to happen, they have to happen. It's that simple. So I'm sure, why not? It's just at 112, I cannot go under 112. I want to clarify that. Right now I'm like 126, and I fight at 112. So not under 112. I can't make under 112.
I know when we talked a while back, several months ago, you talked about, after the 112, actually maybe possibly even going up above that. How high do you see yourself going, and how soon do you think you would move up? Or how?
I feel 112 is my division, but I definitely would like to try 115, and maybe even if we start doing pretty well, maybe 118 at the highest.
Okay.
And I'm gonna have to really put some muscle on and get strong and be smart in there with the bigger girls, but maybe 118.
Okay. One of the things I want to talk about too is when I had a chance to visit the gym last year, I walked in, it's full of kids. But the thing I noticed about your gym was it was mostly little girls. And it was great to see. I mean, I'm a big supporter of women's boxing and amateur boxing as well. And to see that gym full of young girls who looked up, I mean, I just saw the way they followed you everywhere. And to see that, Great. I mean, how does it feel to be that, that inspiration for these young girls and even the boys that were in the gym as well? I mean, how does it feel to be that professional in the gym that they can look up to?
Well, I mean, um, our gym's called Knockout Boxing Club, and I actually made Knock KO girls shirts because there's so many of us girls, and we totally kick butt and we dominate. It's a great inspiration for me that another little girl's looking at me, and you know what? I can't slack off. I have to set a good example for her. And we have Mariah Martinez, which to me, she's gonna be the GOAT.
Oh yeah,
She's
yeah, I agree.
that kid is amazing. I mean, she's gonna surpass me. I have no doubt. She's gonna do better than me, and I'm okay with it because every generation they should all get better, and they should all. I didn't have that person to look at and learn from, and see, and she's there, and she's developing amazingly, and she's ranked number one on Team USA right now in the junior. She's titles already. Did I cut off or?
You cut off for a second, but we're back on.
Okay. So, Sanisa, Sanisa, I'm sorry, it's because I saw Joe. I was reading his thing. That
Yep.
sounds like a plan, Joe. So Mariah's, she's an amazing kid, and she has that hunger. I mean, we spar, and she's fast, man. I mean, she has speed, and she hits hard, and
Yeah.
she's gonna hit harder as she keeps developing. And then we have all these other little ones that look up to Mariah and myself. We have like four other little ones.
Little ones were sparring. I mean, they were just going at it. Bloody noses. I mean, they were just. I mean, blood was everywhere. They'd come back in, and Andy, your husband, would wipe the blood off. They'd go back. Your shirt was just full of blood. Actually, I was sending you photos that day, and I have these. I have to send them to you. These photos full, t-shirts full of blood.
That's actually the little girl that was all bloodied up. That was Gigi.
Okay.
She's gonna be a little beast. She's getting ready to hopefully make her amateur debut this year. We'll see how that goes.
Okay. Now we talked about these young kids in the gym looking up to you. Uh, when you were coming up, I mean, who was it you looked at? I mean, man or woman, doesn't be a boxer, so to speak. Just, I mean, who did you look up to in regards to like your inspiration to become a professional athlete, or even in your amateur career, just to want to strive to go there?
My big brother Saul, he used to box. His pro career didn't go the way it should have, and he didn't really have much amateur experience. He just rushed into the pros, and he went with the wrong people, and he was used. And that hurt me very much because he was somebody that you know motivated me a lot into the sport. So I learned a lot from the bad decisions that he made, and I know that I didn't want to go on that route. And he motivated me, and even though I was in boxing, I would go around to all different boxing gyms or boxing tournaments that they would do here in Arizona, and I would see who was winning, what teams were dominating. Because you don't, it's not when the coach has that one good kid. It's when all the kids in that gym are good. That's a good coach. So that's where I saw Andy Soto with his KO Boxing Club. His kids weren't just winning; they were dominating at the time. They never lost a tournament. They were advancing to regionals, nationals, everything. And he had another female boxer that was extremely good. And so I was like, that's where I need to go. And I joined the team. I joined his team, and I joined at a time where they were all better than me. Everybody was better than me. Even when I started competing, they were all better than me. And, I just wanted to prove them wrong. I wanted to show them that I was better, that I was going to develop better, and that I was going to do better, because it's that competitiveness that comes in. And, at the end of the day, I'm one of the few ones that's still there. A lot of those kids have quit. Some kids have quit at 9-0, 10-0, and, and they were there for years with me. training alongside with me, thinking they were better than me, and now I'm still here. So that's a big motivation for me.
You talk about the competitive nature that you have, and I was able to experience that firsthand. I was shooting ringside for your last fight, and just to see you and Noemi go at it. I mean, my hats off to both of you. Noemi, excellent fight. The two of you just went at it. I mean, it was just a war. But you've actually won the unanimous decision, 6 rounds, I believe. But that fight, I mean, just to see, when you talk about your competitive nature, I've known you out of the ring. It was the first time actually seeing you live in the ring, and kind of something similar happened when the first time I shot one of Sanisa's fights. Little tiny 108-pounder, real, nice and polite and
feisty.
Yes, but once you get in the ring, I mean, to a raging bull, and same with you. Again, it was the first time I had seen you. I remember we were about to walk out. They were about to introduce you, and we were in that little tunnel there, and you were just pacing. I think you just posted a video of that.
Yeah.
Recently, you were just pacing back and forth, and when I saw you, I was just like, God, you were not Sulem. You were just somebody else completely. I mean, that flipped that switch and just kind of went into beast mode. Can you talk a little bit about what goes through your mind as you're exiting the dressing room, kind of going into the tunnel, into the arena?
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about that feeling that you have going in.
Well, first off, I'll make something clear. When I'm exiting my dressing room, making my walk, you will never see me with a big entourage. Never. And that's one specific reason, because it's look at me time. It's look at me time, and I don't need anybody else to take my shine. I mean, I'm there to perform, and I'm there for everybody to look at me. So, I enjoy it. I enjoy the lights, the camera. It's my time to perform, and I have fun doing it. And it's been an experience. As I've been developing in the pros, every single walk has been different. At first, when I first turned pro, everything just went by so fast. And every fight, I've gotten more experience. I've learned to slow down time a little more and enjoy the walks a little more, and, just appreciate the crowd a little more, and just, the jelly legs are starting to go away, because it's nerves, when I first debuted, I didn't even feel my legs. I was so nervous, going up there. I felt so much emotion, and you learn how to control that as each fight goes on. And I think that was my 11th fight, and I'm just, I'm looking around. It's a beautiful arena. My debut in the US, I'm like, wow, I've come this far already. I have to keep going. I think about my family. I think about the hard work my husband's put into me, and I'm like, it's time to bite down.
And talking about biting down, how does it feel to work with Golden Boy, one of the biggest promoters in the game, for your last 2 fights?
I mean, I feel great. I feel satisfied. I feel happy. I mean, it's not a lot of women get that opportunity, and I've been treated very well by Golden Boy. Roberto Diaz, Eric Gomez, Oscar, they all treat me very well. They respect me very much, and they know that I'm hungry for this, and it's a whole new experience. It's something that a lot of kids in the US take for granted when they fight on big cards. I was lucky that I fought on big cards in Mexico, and I was mainly televised the whole time, but it's a different atmosphere, the way you get taken care of. The whole, this was my first time doing a pre-fight interview, the whole doing the little videos and all that stuff. I appreciated every second of it. The night before, we did the pre-fight interview with Hopkins and all the Golden Boy crew, and after I left there, it was fun. It was fun for me. And after I left there, I look at Andy, and he's standing next to me. I'm like, after all that crap I talked in there, I better perform.
And you did. I mean, you came out on top. I mean, it was a great fight. Yeah, but I think you were able to back it up, though.
I tell Andy, it's like, it's not me when I'm fighting or talking boxing. It's like it's somebody else. It's like I don't know. It's like I tell them it's my alter ego.
You know, you mentioned fighting in Mexico. I want to talk a little bit about the culture of women's boxing in Mexico and Europe versus the United States. I mean, as you and I are well aware, and everybody who follows, you know, female boxing is well aware. I mean, in the States, I mean, it's just non-existent. I mean, it's coming up and it's starting to flourish now, but in the past, I mean, you have women headlining fight cards in Europe and in Mexico and filling up stadiums. You know, what can you talk a little bit about, like when you're, I believe I heard you in the past talk about, you know, when you're in Mexico, I mean, people just like, they rush you, the girls and the autographs and the pictures. And can you talk a little bit about that as well?
It goes a lot to the culture of everybody thinking the greatest thing is always in the US. It goes a lot back to it. And in reality, with women's boxing, the US is barely playing catch up because you go to other countries and as an athlete, as a female athlete, you're praised, you're loved, you're taken care of. I mean, I wasn't making millions, obviously, but the way they take care of you and the way they see you is different. I debuted on national TV on Panterita Neri's co-main event, you know, on an arena that was, you know, packed. Um, I have like 8 fights that are on TV Azteca. You know, they move everything. There's at least one woman fight in every card on TV Azteca, and same thing on Televisa. We're just looked at differently and we're praised differently. Here in the US, you know, if I come and I'm going to be on the Canelo undercard, I'll probably be fighting at 4 p.m. on an empty arena. And that's okay with me. I'll appreciate it just as much. But it's, you know, it's different, you know, than, and I'm working my way up there, but I'm not quite there yet. And it's just, I hope that women's boxing in the US keeps picking up, because at the end of the day, as boxers and as you want your paydays, you want those US dollar paydays.
Absolutely. I mean, that's, and what are your thoughts on speaking of paydays, you know, the disparity between what the men get versus what the women are getting?
I understand it to a certain point. I understand that, you know what, probably I don't sell as many tickets as Canelo. So I understand that part a little bit. So I understand that part. But there's also, you know what, if we're both debuting and, you know what, I'm a 4-time Mexican national champion, competed international, everything. How come I'm getting paid way less than this kid that only won one national tournament here in the US, never competed international, you know? I get it. Once you get up there, it's about how much you sell. But when we're starting out, it should be fair game. That's the way I see it.
Now I'm going to ask another question about that was submitted by one of your fans. What's your, after training camp, after your fight, what's your go-to meal? Like, what do you like what's your favorite thing to eat after a fight? After, you know, no more weight cuts. I mean, you're done with the fight. What's your
I love to eat. I I love to eat. So I mean, there's not like a specific thing that I like to eat that I just go to all the time. But I just like to enjoy the time with my family and just eat good food. I mean, it doesn't really matter what it is. It's just a big, you know, platter of whatever, something fancy, something simple. It doesn't matter as long as it's tasty. I will say that I do always bake myself desserts, like that whole fight week. I mean, after fight week, I'm baking all the time, stuff that I can't eat before that. So I love flan, cheesecake, all sorts of things.
recipe? I've seen that posted a couple of times and it looks delicious.
Oh, it's one of the best.
But you know my aguachila is better than yours, right?
Oh, Saraí right there. But that's not just after the fights. I eat elotes like every day. I had one today.
And,
I
Rob, I saw your question. We actually asked your question earlier before you logged in, so I'll probably post this on the timeline later, so you can catch your answer. He had asked WBC, the Kenya, and Yesenia Gomez.
um I eat elotes every day. Once like we get into like past this whole thing, I have a elotero that stands like he's like 2 miles away from my gym. So that's my like protein shake after gym.
What do you put on it? The whole everything, the cheese.
Everything. I put mayo, cheese,
Just,
salsa, polvo, chile en rojo, everything. Lemon. I eat the whole one. I love them.
way to do it. One of the things I want to talk to you about too is you're very active on Twitter. Um, and one of the things I noticed, there's two extremes here. One, I'm going to say is you're very uplifting with other women in the sport and just women in general. Just that women empowerment. And it's admirable to see you always supporting, never talking negative about other female fighters. So I want to commend you on that.
Thank
On
you.
the other side of the coin, you're also not one to hold your tongue. I mean, you're just. I mean, we've talked about that in the past. Where you speak your mind. And even like I think this weekend you made a post about MMA. Like I care. I mean, I can't remember verbatim, but it was something along the lines like, MMA was on, but I could care less. I didn't watch it or something like that.
I mean, I respect MMA, and I have friends that are MMA fighters, and it's a whole different sport than boxing. I don't think they should ever be compared because they're just different. But it doesn't draw my attention. I mean, I've the only one fight that I wanted to see and that I was very interested was that I forget her name, Joanna versus Zhang,
Oh yeah,
and that fight was,
that
you
was
know, best fight ever, ever.
that fight was incredible. That was one of the best fights I've ever seen.
Yeah, competitive from from bell to bell. And I'm glad I saw that fight because that's probably going to go down in history as one of the best. But it doesn't interest me. And as for my feistiness, it's who I am. I mean, if the people that know me in the gym know how savage I am, and I just, as like I said, once I'm in gym mode, it's like or talking about sports, it's just I don't care. I let it go. And as for uplifting other women, I mean, I'm a confident woman and I love myself, and I don't see why other women can't love themselves too and just be happy and hey, cheer each other on. I like to. Now, if somebody rubs me the wrong way, then I'll let them know it. But till then, we can all be friends.
um, Another question from one of your fans was, aside from basic necessities on a daily, what's the one thing you cannot live without?
Elotes.
Maybe food.
I can't live without elotes. I have to have them. It was hard when there wasn't any eloteros around. So I went to the store and bought a bunch of elotes and I had them, here at home.
And did you do that during training camp as well?
Yeah.
Oh.
Elote is my little, like, my getaway thing. My little thing to indulge. And it's not really all that bad either. It's corn.
The cob or the esquita?
No, I get a corn on the cob.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just better.
Another question.
Oh, wait. Andy. I can't live without Andy.
Oh, okay. But Andy, about maybe 4 or 5 months ago, you got a tattoo.
It's gone.
It's it's gone.
It's gone. They completely erased. It just like stayed like a little A right here.
Oh no. Well, those of you who are watching, it was Andy from like Toy Story.
Yeah.
Was it Woody? Woody had it on his boot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's what all Andy's toys have on their boot. So.
Well, the other question was, if quarantine were to end today, where's one place? What's the first place you would travel to? Anywhere in the world, where would you go?
Oh. I know this place and I have it in my head and I can't remember what it's called. I don't know. I can't remember what it's called. It's so beautiful. Has like clear blue waters and I can't remember what it's called. It's because my friend just went before all this started.
In Europe or
Uh, I don't even know.
just blue?
It's like their hotel is on the ocean, and you can go swimming right there, and it's just on the ocean, but I can't remember what it's called. So let's just say Hawaii, because I
Okay,
mean, we'll just go with Hawaii.
all right,
It's
we'll make it easy.
Yeah, I just want somewhere with the beach, warm water, and being able to wear a pretty bikini and feel fabulous.
Yeah, what's another question? Actually, the somebody saw that you posted something about you were reading a book, Nicholas Sparks' book.
Hmm?
Are you a big fan of Nicholas Sparks, or you just happen to pick up that book?
No, I am. I like to get wrapped up in his stories and just, it's I get involved in those stories and I forget about my life for a little bit and just enjoy it.
Is the Notebook?
I think so. I think so. I mean the movie's amazing, but the book is just so much better. And then The Time Traveler's Wife is also amazing. And the one I'm reading right now is sorry, 2 by 2, and it's so good right
Uh,
now. So yeah, I'm a fan of his, and I like stories. I mean, I could be reading something educational, but I like fiction and drama and stuff like that. It's fun for me.
well, I'm getting a warning. We have about a minute and a half left before it shuts off. Um,
Okay.
so first of all, I just want to thank you for taking the time to spend with me talking. So again, as soon as this is over, I'm gonna head over to
The
Phoenix.
Maldives. That's where I wanted to go. Maldives.
Nice, beautiful. I've never been there, but I've seen photos. Looks beautiful.
Yeah.
But as soon as this is over, I'm gonna go to Phoenix. We're gonna go, you, Andy, myself. We're gonna go have some food. We're gonna eat. You're gonna make me that flan, agua chile.
Sounds like a plan. Whatever you want, man.
But before again, we have about maybe 45 seconds left. You want to let people know where to follow you? Where do Twitter, Facebook, Instagram?
So I everything just at Sulem Urbina. I keep it simple with my name, and I'm the one that always answering. So just message me on there and follow me. Thank you.
Well, again, thanks for your time. To Andy, I said hello. Give your mom a big hug for me. Tell her I said hi, and we'll see you soon.
I will. Take care, man.
Thanks. Bye bye.
Bye bye.